out, cell phone cutting up. Everybody got something going on, and somebody else taking somebody else something. I don't know if you in this place. Everybody think that they can just say whatever they want to say. They don't even think they got to say they sorry. They can know your business, but they don't want you to know their business. They can talk about your stuff, but they don't want you to talk about their stuff. Anything you do, they got something to say. But I come to tell you today, there is a word. The word today says, I need to be stretched because destiny is waiting. I need to be stretched because destiny is waiting. I need to be stretched because destiny is waiting. As we go on with the topic, so you say, Pastor, what just stretch me? I got to be moved so like a rubber band. And I don't want to bend back in. I want to pull out so hard that I pop. Because when I pop, that's how much I know I can handle. I'm coming down to you from Samuel. 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 1. This is a 4-part series. So every other Sunday you'll hear from the series that I need to be stretched because destiny is waiting. May 1st, 2022. I need to be stretched. You ought to be saying that to yourself. Because destiny is waiting on me. 1 Samuel. I can't read all this. It's going to be a lot. But what I want to read to you is 27 and 28. And then I'm going to break down to you the other chapters.
And she said to him, pardon me, my Lord, as surely as you live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord, praying for this child. And the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I gave him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord. And he worshiped the Lord there.
Somebody, now in this book we're in Samuel. Thank you, Father. And verse 1 talks about Elkanah and who he's the father of. And it also says that Elkanah had 2 wives. One wife was Peninnah, and one wife was Hannah. Now Hannah had no children, and Peninnah had children. Now verse 3 talks about that when the man went up to the city, every year he would worship somebody. You got to get what I'm saying. Say worship. Every year he went with a sacrifice. Say sacrifice. That means he gathered his money before the Pentecost. Stick with me. And when he got ready to go to Pentecost, he took his money, his gifts, his animals, whatever. Once a year, he goes to Shiloh. And at Shiloh, Eli is the L-O-R-D, lowercase, who watches over the place. He's not the capital L. He's the lowercase one. He's really like a prophet at the place or a priest watching over the church when people come. So Eli has 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas. They were all priests of the Lord. Watch this. But it came time that Elkanah had to make an offering. So he gave portions to Peninnah, which was his wife. He gave all her sons and daughters an offering. But Hannah, he loved her. He gave her 2 offerings. He gave her a double offering. Now remember, she couldn't have kids. her womb had been closed by God. Now I want to say that the woman here would have missed herself. She had kids, so she always reminded Hannah of what she couldn't give Elkanah. I want somebody to stick with me right there.
Teach it.
So as she reminded her every day, Hannah never told Penah nothing.
Come on, preacher.
She just kept all her pain inside. Somebody say inside.
Inside.
So this year had came. The rival had made her miserable, reminding her that her womb had been closed. Year by year, that means this went on time after time. She had to keep being reminded that her womb was closed and she could not give Elkanah a child. As the time went on, when Penah began to talk, she began to provoke Hannah. But all Hannah did was cry. She did not eat. Elkanah and her husband said to Hannah, Hannah, well, look, why are you so sad? Why are you crying? You don't want to eat, you're not hungry? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? I know your womb closed, but am I not good to you? Hannah ain't even answering. How many know when I'm going through something, it ain't even about you? It ain't about you. It might look like it's about you, but it ain't about you. Look at somebody and say it ain't even about you. So she didn't eat. She cried, she wept. But she arose in Shiloh when they had finished eating and they had finished drinking. And she went to the priest in the tabernacle. She wasn't bitter in her spirit. The word says she was bitter in her soul, which means she was upset because she couldn't do that thing that she was hounded upon and pressed upon that she couldn't do. See, sometimes people think they got you figured out. But actually, God be working something up, saying, oh, he's still working.
He's still working.
That's what it says. She wept again and she began to pray. But wait right here. She wasn't eating because she was fasting. She was crying because she was hurting. But she wasn't talking because she was praying. You're missing it, you're missing it. She wasn't eating because she was fasting. She was crying because she was hurting. But she wasn't talking because she was praying. Now before the blessing comes, Hannah had to go through a thing. And she couldn't say anything to anybody. I believe it was getting kind of hard for her not to say nothing. But I think she said, when I go to Shiloh next year, I'm going to make sure I got my offering in my hand. I'm going to make sure I take time and fast before the Lord. I'm going to make sure my voice is heard only by God. Lord help me. But it goes on. Now, she made a vow. I believe this the first time that Hannah about to say something. And instead of complaining, instead of griping, instead of fussing, instead of saying this woman keep teasing me, saying stuff, instead of getting mad, I believe Hannah said, when I get a chance to go to Shiloh, I'm going to talk to the Lord. And I believe I'm going to take me an offering with me. Because I got something to say.
That's it. Come on, preacher. Make it plain.
Lord have mercy. My body already been clean because I kept my body clean before it. My mind already set because all I've been thinking about was this day. My spirit already willing and my flesh has no power because it's weak. Lord, so when I go to him, I'm going to him in the spirit realm. Somebody, you got to catch that. See, when you're going through a thing, you got to start learning how to obstacle and move throughout that thing. You can't let the thing hold you. You got to let the thing know it's not in control. Sometimes we let the situation override us. Sometimes we make noise and just so our own self can hear. My mama say sometimes when we talk, we just bumping our gums.
Come on, preacher.
We just be talking nonsense. But yet we still say it. Elkanah gave the wife the seed, gave Peninnah, gave Hannah, gave Peninnah sons. And then it gets to the next part. She's before Eli. And Eli think he in charge for a moment.
Walk it out.
I believe that Hannah began to say, I'm here, God. And I came to you. I've been fasting and I've been praying. I got my spirit right and I'm ready. Look, I'm asking you for a male child. And if you give me the male child, not only will I take him and do right, I'm going to give him back to you. I'm not going to let a razor touch his head. And you know what? After I finish doing my motherly duties with him, I'm going to give him back to you and he can work for the kingdom. I don't want no glory over him, but I just want to have the opportunity. I think Peninnah think that I want to have a son for Elkanah. But I want you to use my body as a sacrifice for the kingdom. Can you trust me with a gift, God, that I can do right by? Sometimes we want things and we ask for things, but we don't do right by the things we get. And we got nerve to get upset when the people don't do right by us when we ain't did right by people.
Come on, preacher. Come on now. Come on.
Sometimes we get what we dish out, but we don't want to take out, God. We can give it, but we can't take it. We want somebody to understand us, but we don't want to understand somebody. We won't always be the person that's judging, but we don't want to be judged. And we always going to give somebody else whatever we think about somebody else, but we don't want somebody else to do to us, but we do somebody else. Do I have two people in the bitterness that I've been there before? And then it goes on. Then it happened. Eli started to watch her. And now Hannah talking. Her lips moving, Brother Back.
Come on now, preacher.
But Eli can't make out what she's saying. Her lips moving.
That's it.
But he can't hear her talk. I wish I had somebody.
Come on, preacher.
I believe now Eli talking to her like, drunken woman.
Come on now.
What are you coming here drunk for? You know this the house of the Lord. I believe Hannah said, hold up, Eli. I have not had no strong drink.
That's it.
But I've been here pouring my heart out to the Lord. You know what I think Eli wanted to say? I couldn't hear you.
That's it. That's what it was. That's what it was. Couldn't hear you.
But it wasn't for you to hear. Because I wasn't talking to you. Because what I'm asking for, you can't do for me.
Come on, preacher. Come on.
What I'm asking for, you can't do for me. What I need, you can't do for me. I gotta go to the higher power. So I'm talking to the one that I ain't got to talk out loud. He hears me from the inside. Somebody I'm talking to. And I believe Eli has to step back in. Because now, guess what? The Spirit of the Lord is now talking to Eli. Y'all missed it, hear me? Because now he already knows that God about to answer, Lord have mercy, that thing that Hannah asked for. So Eli has to say, okay, look what he said. Do not, she said, consider your maidservant a Hebrew woman. Because I love the Lord. I worship the Lord. I know it's the Lord that got me here. I know it's the Lord that when people come at me wrong, I don't say nothing to them. I know it's the Lord that I fast and I pray on behind what I know God gonna do. Don't you ever include me of asking me, saying I'm drunk.